Hello, my name is Helen Cardias-Menos and I'm the New South Wales Project Officer for the CSER group, which is part of the University of Adelaide. The CSER group stands for the Computer Science Education Research Group. We have federal funding from the Federal Department of Education and Training to support teachers in the implementation of computer science education through professional learning and through Unfortunately, our program is coming to an end and our funding will cease on the 30th of April. However, there are aspects of our program that will continue in some way, shape or form, online or in future in terms of supporting schools. So I'm just going to overview what those are in this short presentation and how you can access those going forward. I have also included my contact details as part of this, so you can contact me if you would like further information about anything that I mention in the presentation. So our funding is around three core aspects. So we have funding for an available online MOOCS. We'll have funding for a lending library, and part of that lending library is a PL in a box. So the MOOCS is a free, open, online course that's available for teachers across Australia. In New South Wales, it's 21 hours of teacher-identified professional learning. We have 6 MOOCS. Now, our MOOCS will continue to be housed online, so you can still access what's already existing. However, they will not be updated, nor will they be manned. So you can still log in and you can still complete the MOOCs, but there will not be a project officer like myself manning those forums, and whatever's on there at the moment will stay on there, so it will not change, be modified or be updated in future. So we have 6 MOOCs. We have 3 that are targeted for primary school teachers and 3 that are targeted for high school teachers. For primary school teachers, we have a Foundations to 6 Digital Technologies MOOC. So basically that's an introduction to computer science, an introduction to digital technologies, a kind of overview of the different types of robots and tools and microcontrollers and things that are available in the space, and gives you some basis of and an overview of how you can implement those in the classroom. Once you have completed that foundation, and I recommend teachers start with the foundation, and if you're really interested and want to know more, you can move on to our extended, so it's like an advanced version of that foundation course. Our latest MOOC is a Teaching AI in the Primary School, so AI standing for Artificial Intelligence, and that's quite interesting and looks at how you can implement some of the concepts and practices of artificial intelligence in a primary school context. For high school, we have a 7 to 8 MOOCs called Next Steps Making Apps. Now that's ideal for all your stage 4 tech mandatory teachers or anyone in a high school context that's just kind of getting started in the computer science space. I often recommend to teachers that are starting the computer science space, it's worth looking at our Foundations to 6 Digital Technologies MOOC first and then moving on to the 7 to 8. I also recommend that primary school teachers who focus on stage 3, so your 5 and 6 teachers, look at the 7 to 8 MOOCs because it gives some really good examples of how you can extend some of your students. So you'll have students that are working at that next level, so helping with that differentiation, but also gives you an idea of where the kids go to next after they leave your stage 3 classroom. We have a 9 to 10 Digital Technologies Explore MOOC, and we also have a Teaching AI in the Secondary School Context. So again, these are free. They're available online via the web address. They're great. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the MOOCs. I recommend them to teachers. Teachers then come back to me and say, that was awesome. I learned so much from doing that. So really quite practical. In addition to that, we have a lending library. Now, up until now, our lending library has been quite extensive and has included a variety of different robotic tools, so things like Dashdot, Bbot, Spiros and Ozobots, also things like microcontrollers like your Microbit, your Makey, and some Little Bits. However, all of those other tools will no longer be lent out by CSER, so that part of our lending library is being disbanded. The only part of our lending library that will continue to function will be our VR and AR kits. So those kits are actually funded under a separate grant. So we will continue to lend those kits out to schools. We have 4 kits, and I'll go through them really briefly now. So this is the augmented reality kit, and it's targeted for K to 12 as it's augmented reality. It is appropriate for you to be using with primary school age children. In the kit itself, you'll find some iPads, and on those iPads will be the relevant apps already loaded up and ready for you to go. And then you'll have some resources, so some like AR books, so the ones that you see on the screen there, like The Brain or Into Deep Space. The fabulous virtual tee, which is so much fun and kids absolutely love using that one, and some cards and some AR posters and things like that. So again, freely available. Contact us. Can be teachers. The next kit we have is the virtual reality daydream kit. So this one is targeted just for high school because of the VR headsets that are inside. So you'll see there's 4 Lenovo Mirage headsets. We also have 14 Google Cardboard headsets inside. So because of the research around younger children in virtual reality headsets, the recommendation is that children under the age of 14 do not use headsets. So these kits are targeted for high school and a great way for high school teachers to explore that space. The augmented reality in space kit is fabulous and is available for primary school teachers and students to borrow. And it is around that space theme. So particularly in stage 3, when we start looking at natural disasters in space, this is quite a nice way that you can integrate digital technologies into that program. This kit itself includes the I Explore Deep Space book. It has some of the space AR cards, and also the really super awesome that kids love to use mini solar system. So I recommend borrowing that. And then our last kit is the virtual reality quest kit. So this one is targeted for high school because of that. So a lot of teachers will come to me and say, I'm quite nervous about teaching technology, and in primary school it's mandatory now that we incorporate digital technologies in our curriculum for assessment, teaching and reporting. And so teachers will say, it's too much for me. I'm not an expert and I have to be an expert. Assessment, I don't even want to think about that, and my lesson just becomes about technology. Well, they're the kind of the myths. The fact is that your lesson is always going to be your lesson, and the technology is the tool for supporting your learning intentions and success criteria. You do not have to be an expert. So events like the one that you're at tonight, and online webinars, Twitter chats, they're fantastic mediums for you to be able to connect with people that can help you who have done this or might be more experts in the field. YouTube is your friend. It is fantastic with how-to videos and explicit guidelines on how you can do something with the tech and then implement it in your classroom. And the assessment side of things is it has to be hard. It can involve things that you're doing as part of the teaching and learning cycle, things that are your formative assessment, for example. It could be screenshots of code. It could be reflections of students talking about what codes they've created, why they've created those codes, what the code's going to do. So it doesn't have to be all extremely involved. Thinking about the shift in our curriculum. So we're moving away from students becoming consumers and just consumers and users of technology to moving towards creators and developers of technology. And this idea has underpinned the change in the 6 environment. So the big takeaway message I give to teachers is look for their connections. You cannot possibly teach digital technologies as a standalone subject in K to 6. You need to find your curriculum. These are our 3 outcomes in K to 6. I distill them down to 3 big ideas: creating, problem solving, and how. Underpinning those these ideas, which are expressed in the beginning part of the science and technology syllabus. So one of the big skill sets that we're trying to encourage students with is computational thinking and also systems thinking. So understand that things work together as a whole, or as as a series of interdependent components. Within that context, when you're teaching technologies in primary school, look for the links. Picture books are fantastic. Lots of different examples here, and these can be used even in the high school context. You can go with your traditional books or your MOOCS books, but there's loads out there, and there are loads of ways to incorporate doing. The last few slides are just some photos of the ways that I've incorporated digital technologies in my teaching space by linking into what teachers are doing in terms of literacy, in terms of science, in terms of music and visual arts and things. There are some examples there from K to 6 or early stage 1 right through to stage 10, or ideas on those or how to do them. Please just send me a message via Twitter or via email and I'll happily access. These slides are just steps here. If you do need any kind of you through that, these are my contact details. There's also the link to the CSER homepage and to the MOOCS. After the 30th of April, that Adelaide EDU email will probably not be functioning, but you can contact me via Twitter or my blog. Thank you very much.